Good morning, Mel. Toot, toot, toot. I'm ready for some trades. Yes, me as well. Did yours? Or at least I hope some trades. But we already had a good week once again, so nothing to complain. I kind of hope, let's see, what are the session stats so far? P1, P2. Yeah, I still really like this zone. So maybe we can get a shakeout. Then here I'm looking for longs. Right here it's location wise it's not good. We have VWAP as support. So we could push higher, but overall just under Monday's high and at the range high, you have to be very careful with longing. Or you need to have like super clean triggers. But so far, it's a tricky spot right here. Welcome, Trade Wayabasi. Bransky, good to see you, brother. Sam, good to see you as well. New in the chat. And Kijos, your gold trade was great. Wonderful week. Yeah, super clean. Like gold has been it's just seeing it play out so cleanly. It's almost like it's an art. It's crazy how you can kind of see these models, and then it fascinates me. Like how can we see that the asset, a multi-trillion-dollar asset like gold, has a very high probability from here to make a move to that level. It's like it's amazing. It's looking in the future. We have this potential like levels of interest. Main interest is this. This was our range where we broke out from. So this is the range, this is the initiation, potentially mitigation, continuation. So like main POI is the top of this former range where we have this demand to look for just the rimsy play. Also now we can kind of watch this range from this perspective. They can also see that we broke out above it. So continuation like that is what I'm mainly looking at. And then we can do the same trick, by the way, what we always do. Which is this volume profile from that high to the breakout. And then the highest probability retracement is the demand right here. So also keeping an eye on that. Because we have here clean demand created here with imbalances. So here we have some imbalances and here. So those could be retested before continuing up. Like locally it's showing some signs of a slight rounded bottom, but not really something I'm interested in. More so because we have a lot of levels under us, which makes sense to retest for the market. So then there is a reason to fill the gaps and tap into demand or even lower. You can have a look at the lower time frame. It's kind of like 1, 2, 3, potentially 4. This tapped into supply right here. Yeah, this could be rounded bottom, but it's not a trade I would take because I don't trust this third tap, for example. At least, yeah, it could work out, but it's not that I think, yeah, this is an clean invalidation. So I'm already happy with the trade so far, so I'm not gonna risk stupid trades. Welcome, Slatan, as well. Regarding BTC, let's clean up the chart. Is the sound good, or do you guys hear the music on the background? Let's not give our profits back. No, exactly. Like this is one of those weeks where not losing is winning, and right now we are already winning. So then could also just say it's a good week, but we can always try to do better, of course. But for the guys that were yesterday in the live stream, it's crazy what price it exactly followed the plan by tapping into the range demand, even this demand right here, filling the imbalances to the dollar. And then I said, and we had the shorts trapped at the low. So I said, like, if bulls are intended to push higher, then they want to see a quick move away from it. However, it happened during the night, so not really a good entry. And it's also just grinding higher like this, so not high probability zone. What I would, or what I pre-planned, was to see that bulls right here, so break structure back to bullish, and then give like a clean retrace like this. Then you have like high probability model 2 accumulation. But yeah, price does not always exactly what you want. In this case, we just continued higher. So nice pre-planning, but did not catch a trade. Right now, price has taken out the Monday's high. So we have a new weekly P2, which is super interesting because that means that our low is, see, this is our weekly low. This is now our weekly high, which makes our weekly low a super strong pivot and this a weak pivot, which means that the weekly bias has turned bullish, making it very likely that we will make new highs later in the week. And my bias has been more to the bull side as well. So right now it looks like it's playing out. And my main expectation is still to reach 74k to fill those imbalances we have left behind. So main bias is bullish. However, the question is like, where do you want to long? Generally, if we just look at it from the range perspective, we are now at extreme premium. So this is not a level where you want to get long. It can be like a scalp long if you think, okay, for example, yeah, here I don't really see a trade, but let's say this is my main PY, this demand lower. If price moves into there with structure like this and then breaks to bullish, then I will be super interested in longing it. And then after the break, you can basically use that low as your invalidation or just give it a little bit more room under that demand. And then I think this is not super significant. I think 74k is the big level to watch. So I'm just gonna be patient and look for higher probability zones. And then to explain them, we have, show you here, 50-minute OBIN. So this is the last sell candle before that strong buy, leaving behind an imbalance. So this is a clean 50-minute OBIN overlapped with the range POC. So that's a super clean level. Then under that we have like another 50-minute OBIM. And then at the range low we have, what is it? 1 hour zone. So I have my alerts ready basically at this zone, and this zone for alongs. And this is our range high. So you always should keep an eye. This could potentially be tap 2. However, only if it delivers a really, really high probability distribution, then I'm interested in shorts here. But since we made a new weekly P2, we know that it's very likely to see bullish expansion higher. So I think this is just a trap. People are shorting all the time. But I think the high probability shorts are 74k. So mainly interest in longs, still here, and still not ruling out to see new highs later on. But we have a big week with news, and this weekend going to be super interesting with the US and Iran. So I have buys but ready to flip quickly because we're also building sell side liquidity here. So it can literally go all the ways. Would also not be surprised if we start going down here, that we take all this sell side liquidity and then eventually still get that 1, 2, model 2. So a lot of different ways how to play this, but for now, yeah, not really forcing anything. Just not feeling the shorts still. Welcome everyone in the chat, also everyone that's watching. If you are watching, press the like button on the video. It's a little gesture for me that you appreciate it. And it's good to get the algo a bit of running. And let's look at the data right here. So open interest, it's calm, perps going higher, and spot also buying a bit. So not too much interesting things. We don't have really big delta. Like yesterday during the stream, I mentioned at the bottom that we had some trapped shorts. So I said, like, often when you are in a range, you want to wait for the extremes and then for trapped positions, and then you get some action. And that's also what happened yesterday. We, like here, these were the green box were the single prints. Price filled it like almost to the dollar. And then people started shorting the lows. They got trapped, and that caused quick action away from it. So often I watch for those levels where you have confluence, where people get trapped and then you get action. If you do business in the middle, then you're watching the chart all day while nothing is happening. I don't like that. We look, there's now some action going on. 26 million delta, which are, let's see, we can see exactly what it are. Which are shorts. So shorts are getting in here, or at least market sells. So then you can know, okay, that's interesting. Alert still there. We have some buy side liquidity above. If those short get trapped, then this will squeeze into new highs. However, not a trade I want to take. I want to, like here we almost have equal lows. I would really like to see maybe those trapped shorts. Let them think that they are right. Tap into this demand, then flip to bullish, squeeze them into new highs. That will be for me the only trade I'm now interested in on BTC. But let's go back to the example. Because as I said yesterday, almost all levels are cleared. Like normally you have a lot of POCs and poor lows, poor highs, stuff like that. Right now, the chart is pretty cleaned. So there's not much unfinished business. And especially since yesterday we filled the single prints right here to the dollar. So now the only real magnet locally is these single prints resting above, starting at 70, around just a little under 73, into like under 74. So I think that's the next magnet, and I think price will travel there. That's why I'm more interested in longs, because that could offer the long from around here into like this zone. And that's like a super high probability supply zone. So there we can look for local shorts if you get a 3 drive for swing shorts. But yeah, that's a high probability zone. and I think price will travel there. However, just having a bias doesn't mean anything. Just like yesterday, I expect us to bounce from here. But like I said, I can long here, but my invalidation is then not clean. The only invalidation I can then use are these lows. And then like you can take trades like this. It's just not my style. Also like here, I expect us to go higher. But what is my clean invalidation here? It's literally now maybe under this. But until I see structure flip back to bullish, I can also see it travel all the way back to this demand. So then this is my clean invalidation, and I'm not gonna long this for a 2R or 3R. I know with patience it will give a clean setup, which will be here, tap into it, flip back to bullish, long it here, entry, stop below that low, and then target 74. And then we also have like a much higher RR, 5R. We just need some patience for the setup. Then ETH also followed the plan perfectly, but also not gave a trigger. Because this has been having that range high, range low, swept the range low, tap 2, and then broke back to bullish right here. But yeah, local sketchy price action, so not giving a true entry. The main POI for a long is a bit harder on this one, because this is all sell side liquidity, basically. So not interested in longing anything here. Main POI is the start of this liquidity trail, this imbalance into this demand. So that could potentially offer like 1, 2, 3, back to bullish, 3 tap setup for longs. Otherwise, there's not much here to hold price up. But also for ETH, I think this will travel to 2300, which is this zone. Let's look more local. And for shorts, yeah, I don't see this as a clean short. We did not even take out the range high. It's like equal highs. So I'm pretty sure that sooner or later we will take that out at least. So also here, just remaining patient, have some alerts at the start of the liquidity trail in this demand. Also this lower demand, because we still have that range demand below, super clean zone. And if we break above, I think a lot of people are shorting it right here. I think this will shoot through, maybe stall here a bit, and then go here. And that's where I'm interested in potential shorts. Appreciate your work. Thanks, ADOTP. Always happy to hear that people like it. So plus equal highs. Yeah, it are equal highs, right? Like there and yeah, equal highs. So they will be taken out sooner or later. But yeah, not really a clean setup. So that's just again wait for patience. Sol. Yeah, I don't like the chart too much. I said yesterday, high probability zones are here. There I'm interested in longs. Here I'm interested in potential shorts. But I don't see this as a distribution range. I see this just as structure. Higher low, higher high. So I'm not forcing shorts here because I just don't see it. This supply, which is literally the like lower high, aggressive break. So this is a super high probability supply zone. And big chances that price wants to test that level because there's liquidity. So I have an alert there. Maybe then I'm interested in shorts. But I think this, yeah, there are also some demand zones on the way down. So like here we have some demand. And on the lower side also here some demand. So just patiently waiting. Maybe you guys already seen it, but most of the time I'm just waiting. And eventually I get a clean setup. Just like gold yesterday. It's just waiting for the clean setup, but eventually you get Wyckoff and then you take a 5R home. And then you can basically chill the rest of the week and wait for another good trade. Important to not do anything stupid in between, but that's the most important part. For gold, waiting. BTC, also waiting. For ETH, also waiting. Sol is just a bit of a weird chart. Tao is crazy. Look at this. Like if you zoom out, it's still, but on the like daily, this is something I've not seen in a very, very long time on crypto. It's giving me bull vibes. And not to talk shit about others, but you need to be aware of what is the difference between a uptrend and a distribution range. I know people that have been shorting Tao because every move can be a distribution. Like if you see this as 1, 2, then I know that people shorted here, and are now constantly shorting it because it's potentially a distribution. But the basics of trading, which I also explain in like the right here in the course content, I think my market structure is combined already 2.5 hours of content because market structure is the basis of everything. And this is literally just an uptrending asset. So if you short an uptrending asset because you think it's 1, 2, it's a distribution, then you are always against the trend of the overall market. And that's emotionally also very hard because if you try it once, let's say try to trade the model 2 here, and you take the loss, that's fucked up. Then you think, okay, it's model 2 failed, let me try the model 1. Because you already took a loss and now your mind is focused on, I need to catch the short. So then you also go on like the 1 minute and think, oh yeah, there we get the fake break. Or like, oh look, break of structure. I knew it. So this is high, high, low, high, high, break. Let me take a short because I need to catch the short. And they get stopped out again and again. And then you don't think normally again anymore. And that's what I see a lot. People shorting uptrends and longing downtrends. For Tao, for me, it's just right now untradable because this is going vertical. So then I want my ranges, and this is now just trending higher and higher. Like also here, 1, 2, 3. 100% people shorting this, but super dangerous. Right now you can say, okay, high, low. This is your new range. But is this a range or does it look more like potential just market structure? So always be very, very aware of that. Is it a range or are you just fighting the trend? Because there's nothing more painful than going against the trend because the trend is your friend. But yeah, Tao, crazy, crazy strength. Like here, like 40% move since this week. It's crazy. Aren't you always trading against the trend when trading high time frame Wyckoff and using low time frame entries? Yeah, that's why it's super dangerous to only focus on ranges, because a range is good to work with, but the trend is more important. And basically Wyckoff is always trading the reversal of a trend, which can work, but you are always trading against the trend, which is basically a way to take quite a lot of losses. So that's why market structure always overrules, and only if it's super, super, super clean, then you can take a reversal trade. But overall, it's dangerous. Market structure always overrules ranges, supply and demand. Like, is demand in supply in control, or is supply in control? Here, price is trending up, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So you have an uptrend. You have demand creations, demand created, demand created. So to short here is just, it makes no sense. You can short it after you see supply getting in control. So do you have super clean supply creations, and do you break structure? Right now, the last significant low that brought you to a new high is this low. So if you break this low, then you can talk about a trend change. But what is below this low? Demand. Demand. POC. So here you have just trend is up, you have demand creations, no supply creations, structure still up. So constantly searching for shorts here is going against the trend. It's much easier to look for entries for longs to play the trend until you have super clean triggers that it's going to reverse. Yeah, Tao, and what's also clean, like what Tao gave, for example, was this range. So you can still see high, low, but not every, like, you can draw a range, you draw it from high to low, but what is important is your high is your swing high, your low is your swing low. Market structure. High, swing low, take out the high, they have a new high. If you wick the high, then you have big chance to go to your market structure low, because it's a weak target level. This gave an hourly break, but because you're on an uptrend, what you then rather wanted to look is for trend continuation. So this is like high, low, higher high, what's expected order flow, higher low, higher high. I missed this one, but here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Reaccumulation while being in a higher time frame uptrend. So this was basically a super clean long. Unfortunately, I missed it. But if you, like in uptrends, give reaccumulations and stuff, that tells you demand is in control. So then you want to long and not be overly focused on always shorting the highs. Because if you do that, like right now we are in a choppy market, but if the bull market ever returns, and believe me, I've been there, you don't want to be the guy that tries to short every uptrend. Everyone is making money, and you think, oh, it's a distribution, I'm shorting. Take loss after loss after loss. And if you take a short, get stopped out, retry, get stopped out, retry, get stopped out, it's almost impossible mentally to switch to longing from there. So then the only thing your mind thinks is, okay, I need to short because I've already tried it a few times. While if you, instead of shorting it here, just longed, then you get free rides higher. But there's no free ride. But what do you think 90% of the people are doing right now on Tao? I'm pretty sure funding is negative and stuff. People are shorting this. These are, you can also see it on the price action. This is vertical. This is just inversed buying, aka shorts getting stopped out over and over again. causing price to just squeeze higher. But I wrote down a rule for myself. In strong uptrends, focus on Wyckoff accumulation models rather than vice versa for downtrend. Not sure. Yeah. That's so important, and that's what a lot of people forget. They just see every range as just a neutral range, while the range in an uptrend is much more likely to be an accumulative or reaccumulative range than to be a distribution range, because then it's a trend reversal. So indeed, like Dow was a perfect example. High time frame uptrend, focus on reaccumulations. Like this was the super clean reaccumulation. Then you have push higher. But a lot of people, they see just range high, range low, take out the range high, then they think, okay, this must be a distribution in the making. But that's the wrong way of thinking. Yes, low time frame Wyckoff in the direction of the high time frame actually works like a charm. Yes, indeed. Can you quickly explain the BTC scalp you took this morning? Yeah. Let's delete the So I wanted to long, or my alerts in this demand, which I'm still waiting for basically. But I saw that we had just from high to low this uptrend. So clean uptrend. And then this was where I was watching it. So if you look at what price is doing, it's basically in an uptrend. And if you pull, for example, your FIBs, you can see from low to high, price comes to close to the FIBs, like the 618 is probably there, makes a new high, comes there, makes new high, just a healthy uptrend. But I saw already on how price was moving, I would not be surprised if this squeezed higher, because I just knew a lot of people are shorting this. So when we, let's see, and we had like here, we know that London highs and lows are very unlikely pivots. So today we have the low at hour 3, and the high at the first moment was at hour 6. So both pivots during Asia. But later in London, we took out the high. So at that moment, we have a Asia low at hour 3, which is a strong pivot, and a London high, which is a weak pivot, likely to be taken out at the later point. So at that moment, I knew, okay, we have a weak London pivot, and we have an uptrend with demand mitigations, continuations. Demand is in control, uptrend, weak high. I want to get long because I know everyone is shorting this move. So here I waited for like first at this moment, but here I saw with low, high, low, high, low, break. So at that moment I longed it around here. I had my stop first here, and I was like, if this is gonna squeeze, then I would not be surprised if it moved to here or potentially higher. So I just wanted to be in the trade. Then I saw price squeeze higher, moved my stop to the low, because if you trade with the trend, you can often get trades where you can easily de-risk pretty quickly. Then I saw price move here, get down. Then on this retrace, I closed out for profits for like 1 hour, 1.5 hour. So nothing special, just combining uptrend, a weak high, demand in control. So enough reasons for me to take a little gamble. It was nothing from, it was far from a high probability setup or a Wyckoff or anything. Just simple range continuation. My entry was at 10 a.m. low. Yeah, clean. Like in hindsight, I could have also after this break here technically used this as my stop and then would have a better RR. But sometimes it's just for your sanity also chill to know price is allowed to come back to this demand because this is there's still a reason for price to come there. So it could also from here, like go there, lower high, come here and then push up. So if I had my stop below here, then I would have still be saved. Simply continuing this uptrend. Because it was allowed, according to market structure, to come back all the way here and then push up. So that London now was a good confluence tool. Yeah. Like London pivots, super improbable. And like today our high, I just see is also during London. So pretty unlikely daily high, likely to be taken out. So that's nice for the potential long I'm watching for. By the way, I promised to make a video about the statistics. I won't do that because there is a massive upgrade coming on with a new platform and a lot of super exciting stuff. I spoke to Yip today, and yeah, he also said it's better to wait a few more weeks than to make the videos with the old program, because otherwise I have to do it all again. So I'm just gonna wait a few weeks, and then the new dashboard is gonna be launched, which he told me it's gonna be insane. So a little more patience is needed, but a lot of amazing updates are coming in with even more things we can't talk about yet, but it promises to be crazy. So looking forward to that. Session viewer right below was also there. A solid branch chart, another confluence. Yeah, let's see. VWAP was indeed also bullish here right now as well. So we need bullish VWAP. And let's have a look at the weekly stats, because we know that we now have a weekly P2 at Wednesday. So the weekly statistics have flipped bullish. Great to see many people watching currently. And truly amazing that I see the same people every day in the chat. But I see also that more and more people are starting to watch the stream. So that's amazing. First, daily stats. Oh, daily stats are also bullish. Okay, first start at the daily. Oh. So we have... Okay, let's do this on a clean chart. On Maxi, the scam exchange. Then mark out the daily low is right here. The daily high is right here. Then look, based on timing, low flip risk. 23% of the days took out the daily low. So that's low. And on distance, 17% took out the daily low. So low chance that price takes out the low. Then how likely is it that if this low holds, which is likely, that we make a new high? Unlikely that P2 is in. 94% of the days make a new P2 after 11:35. So we have a London high, which I just showed, which is unlikely to hold. And then based on distance, 82% of the days moved further than 2.3%. So current move from low to high is 2.3%. 82% of the days make a bigger move to the upside. And 94% of the days make a new P2 after the London. So if we combine it, it means that the low is unlikely to be taken out. So strong invalidation, the high is unlikely to hold. So that adds to the bullish plan to see the low hold and make new daily highs. So that's interesting. And that's also like kind of the context building, right? Because a lot of people are now shorting. But if you are now shorting and, for example, use this as your stop loss or the high as your stop loss, then you are basically going against the odds, which are heavily against you. So that's a bit of context to build around it. And you are going against the trend because you are just having this uptrend. So shorting is highly against you, against the odds. And then we can look at the weekly. So the weekly low is this one. Let's make those bigger. And the weekly high is also our daily high. So on the weekly low P1 flip risk, only 14% of the days took out the weekly low. So super low. And 17% of the weeks took out the weekly low on distance. So that's also very low. So we can say this low is super strong, unlikely to be taken out. And then how likely is it that if this is our weekly low, this is our weekly high, that we will make new highs past the current high? Based on time statistics, 88% of the weeks form a new P2. So that shows it's very unlikely to print the high on Wednesday if the low is on Monday. And then based on distance statistics, so how many weeks make a bigger move from this low to that high, 78% of the weeks move further than 6.8%. So it's like close to 80%. So combining daily and weekly statistics, I'm leaning now even more bullish. It's very, very unlikely that this high holds. So I'm interested in longs towards new weekly highs, but then I think it's super likely that we're going to fill those single prints into that warmer supply, which is here. So then we can play the upside basically from here into that level. The question remains, like, you want to have a clean invalidation. That's the most important factor for me. Do I trust my invalidation? Right now, I don't see super clean invalidation. Like, yeah, you could say what was our daily low? Like our daily low is at around 70.2. So our daily low is, like our daily low is the lowest demand. So my main POI is this demand. And then we have a demand below it. And that is also our daily low. And we know that the daily low is unlikely to be taken out. So you could already say, okay, that's also a clean invalidation. Then we can look at the volume profile. Price currently near the value area high. My main demand POI is also protected by the point of control of the range. So you don't want to lose that. So here, if we're going to move into demand, I'll always want to wait for structure or a buyback. But here you could basically say, I want to enter around here. Invalidation is the daily low because it's unlikely to take out the daily low. It's also protected by two demand zones and the point of control of the range. And because we know the weekly is bullish, we can target for at least new weekly highs, but likely it's that we get it move into those single prints. Then how would it look? Will be around a trade like this, which will be pretty clean. However, personally, I'm gonna wait for some clean structure, because also seeing like this move, I wouldn't be surprised if we get like some ranging price action, and then go for the new potential highs. But overall, most things are pointing higher to me. How do you know when to execute a trade when it comes to your POI level? So for me, structure is like I want to see price move into it with structure. So right now, on the 5 minute, for example, we have low, lower high. If we make a new lower low, lower high, low low, tap into demand, break this structure back to bullish, that's my entry. To long, use this as my invalidation. And I want to see price move slowly into a level. Like if we do this, that's way too aggressive. That shows that sellers are in control. Then I'm not interested anymore. Like yesterday was a picture perfect example of how I want to see price move into a level. Like this demand was my POI for a long. This was like the start of the 5R trade, but that was too late. And you have here 2 sellers, 2 sell candles, buy candle, leaving an imbalance behind. So this is like the 2 candle demand, and your most refined demand is the lower one. So this less sell candle before the buy. Then price also had like a local downtrend from here, low, lower high, low low, lower high, lower low, break back to bullish. So this was the bullish break, bullish bulls. Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. It was here. So low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low low, break. So then this is your break back to bullish. And then this is your demand POI. So like for now, on BTC, this is my demand POI. Yesterday it was this, for example. And then this is the perfect example of how I want to see price move into the level. Slowly, with structure. And then once you break your structure back to bullish, this is your long. Basically here, stop loss below that low, and then target higher. Like this is a clean example of how I want to see price move into a level. Then I also tap it and then move away, super clean. Which is the opposite of, for example, if this is the demand, and I say, okay, this is my demand, I want to see price move into that level. And if instead of slow price action, it does this, then I'm not interested anymore. Because then I know price created supply on this move. So even if we bounce from here, this is supply where we can move down from. So it's always about how do you move into it and do you have structure. This is an internal downtrend. If you break that to bullish, then it's like entry trigger, stop loss below your low. So always with market structure. That's why market structure is everything. You can basically trade only market structure. Just wait for the trend, flips, respect the trend. Is gold gonna complete the, would be crazy. The rounded bottom. Lately, New York session has been boring as fuck. Every time when I'm streaming, it's like, yeah, waiting. And then later in the New York session, the action comes. Also because Trump likes to wait for the market closes. So, are there any questions? Let me update daily and weekly stats for the server. And if there are questions, let me know in the chat right now. Stats. Likely, unlikely to be taken. Week. Wow, likely. Would you trade only market structure without looking at supply and demand? Just curious. No. I always combine them. So right now for BTC, for example, I know demand is below us. And there's not really clean supply. I can already see that there's no supply here. So then I'm looking for like market structure here, give the break, long it, back up. But if, let's say, price moves up here and then does this, then I'm already more cautious of taking the long right here, because then sellers showed that they're present as well. So I always take supply and demand in consideration, but maybe yeah, a bit unconscious. Can you check your USD? Sure. Checked it yesterday as well. Not sure if my chart is. I probably deleted it. Yeah, I deleted it. Low time frame, or I can remember yesterday that this was tapping into supply right here, but from the low up it was just in the uptrend. So right here. So this could just be a high low for a higher high. And then locally, you can watch this as a range, or like this. Range high, range low, demand below. So I will look at potential accumulations here, trade it back to the high. From there, look for deviations, for distributions. Low time frame accumulation, I think, yeah. I would also look for an accumulation here, but I don't trade euro. Already too busy with watching the other pairs. So yeah. Yeah, I would also look for accumulations here, just playing the overall trend. Have I missed? Oh, hyperliquid. So I think hyperliquid will be ranging for quite a while, but I'm super, like we have now created a new range with range high, range low, mid-range tap. So this is the new range to watch. But I'm super interested in longs. If we sweep the lows, take this sell side liquidity into this demand, that will give high probability longs. And for shorts, yeah, basically the same thing as always. Shorts there, longs here. For now, it's at the mid-range, so also some local liquidity there and local liquidity there. So this probably just chops around a bit. But on the higher time frame, this is starting to look super interesting. Also on the high time frame, it's like if this is gonna be the range, which it looks very well, then there's a high probability demand below, which makes accumulations from here super interesting, and a high probability supply zone above for potential distributions. So just waiting for either the range high or the range lows to be taken, and then super good setups will present itself. But yeah, matter of patience. Interesting. Can I soon exchange this worthless euros for Swiss franc? Yeah, like what is the chart? Can I have a quick look? You're CHF, right? Yeah. It's just super. It's just a horizontal level. Anything below it. Yeah, I think our euros for piece of shit. Okay, so plan is clear, I think. Gonna close the stream if there are no questions anymore. But daily is bullish, weekly is bullish. Just waiting for some more price action. And it's basically for most assets. So I can show you quickly to end it my watch list, which is BTC, ETH, Hype, Sol, and DAO from the crypto pairs. And then if we look at the weekly, this is basically the time stats, and these are the distance stats. So here, all have a bullish bias on the weekly. Flip risk on time, 12%. Like ETH is 61%, so ETH is pretty high. But the other are all below 20%. So low flip risk based on timing. And based on distance, all under 20%. And then how likely is it to make a bigger distance? 74, 82, 92, 96. So big chance that they make new highs based on distance. And how likely is it to make a new high based on timing? All close to 90% plus. So all assets basically show a similar picture as BTC, where it's unlikely to take out the weekly low, and it's likely to make new weekly highs later in the week, purely based on stats. So that's the bias for now, but should not forget that we are in a weird situation with Trump claiming victories and Iran saying that he can fuck off. So we don't know how that's gonna go. Like Friday is already approaching, so weekend a lot of things can change. So we have to be adapt to it. But best to wait just for clean setups, take them, take home the money, and then see what happens. Bro, just curious, why so many crypto pairs compared to TradFi Forex, for example? Because I don't like Forex too much trading. Like Forex trades different than crypto, which trades different than commodities. But I found out that like for me, the best to trade is just BTC. Like I think 80% of my trades are just BTC. And gold. These two. And then like I barely trade ETH. Sometimes I like the hype gives clean models. But yeah, in my opinion, like 80% of my attention goes to gold and BTC. And the audit pairs I check from time to time. But I like them way more than watching 5 Forex pairs, 10 commodity charts, 15 Basically, the 5 crypto pairs, ETH and Sol, are 9 out of 10 times similar as BTC, and Hype and Tao are living their own life. So basically 3 crypto pairs, 1 commodity pair. That's all I need. Yeah. Yeah, basically BTC and gold is enough to like if I would watch that the whole day on the 1 minute, then I would have more than enough trades as well. Then one little trick you can do, like super trend, it's the most simple indicator there is. But for example, now, if you are looking to short, wait at least for the super trend. You can watch like on which time frame is it acting as support. So like here on 30-minute it's bullish, on the hourly it's bullish. Then you can watch what is the lowest time frame where price is close to the line. And here on the 15-minute, like 10 minutes, then this is just based on market structure and the overall volume. But if you are looking for shorts, then wait at least for some significant structure to break against you. For now, that's not the case, so it's just an easy way to use market structure. I never use it, but if you find yourself always fighting the trend, put on the super trend and then wait for it to flip against you before going short. Right now, this is clearly just trending up, so not wise to short it. Then I want to thank everyone for tuning in again. Tomorrow, same time, streaming again. And in the meantime, we'll update the Discord as always. So see you guys there as well. If you got trade ideas set up, make sure to drop them. And my main attention goes to the pairs. So if you see a model on one of my pairs, like gold, ETH, BTC, Hyper, Tau, drop them because maybe I have not my eyes on it, and then we can take it together. And that's eventually my dream, to just watch like these pairs with these people around me that have the exact same view on it as me, and then just take all the money home. So thanks for everyone for tuning in, and see you guys tomorrow again. Cheers.